It's finally here. Most people think they'll wake up and go through another ordinary morning. The same routine, the same sky, the same breath. But not today. Today, if you listen closely, something feels different. The air carries a new scent. Time moves a little slower. And your heart, it beats with quiet awareness, because the universe has just begun a new cycle. This isn't just another sunrise. It's the closing of old energies and the birth of something vast that's been building for months. October prepared your spirit. Yesterday, your timeline shifted. And now, today, everything you've been aligning with begins to take shape in the physical world. You may not see fireworks in the sky, but this is no ordinary day. Today, the invisible door opens. It's the passage between what was and what's becoming. A door only visible to those who are awake, aware, and willing to move with the energy. For those who hid away, who stayed home and avoided connection, this moment might slip quietly past them. But for those who showed up, who felt the call, who trusted their intuition, today is the day your dreams begin to root into reality. The energy has reached its peak. This is not just a transition. It's a final call whispered by the universe itself. Most people wait for signs in the clouds, but those who are truly awake can feel the door closing. Because this is not a continuation. It's a sealing, a locking in of everything you've activated, or a dissolving of what wasn't aligned. So pay attention. Notice the strange sensations, the small vibrations, the urge to connect with someone specific. Those are not coincidences, they're messages. The universe is speaking clearly. Do not be alone today. This isn't a beginning, it's a completion. If you're hearing these words, you've been called. The door is open, but not for long. And if you isolate yourself now, you'll watch it close, from the wrong side. The sky is calling, softly, not loudly. Only those who listen will hear it. And if this message found you, it's because you were meant to receive it before the moment passes. So ask yourself, are you ready? Because it's not enough to feel the energy. You have to act on it. When tomorrow comes, you'll know. You either seized this moment or you missed it entirely. The old cycle has done its work. You've faced endings, shed identities, and released what no longer served your highest path. You died to your old self, and that death was sacred. Now, it's time for rebirth. This is your rise. This is the moment you step into the version of yourself that's been waiting on the other side of all that letting go. The portal opened. You received the codes, the frequencies, the downloads. You rewired your consciousness. You merged with your future self. But here's the truth. Activation was only the first step. Activation happens in energy, in thought, in intention, in spirit. But anchoring happens here, in the physical. It happens when you step into the world and let others see who you've become. That's why isolation breaks the process. When you stay home alone, there's no reflection, no witness, no interaction. And without those, the energy can't ground itself into matter. Think of it like quantum physics. When you activated, you became all possible versions of yourself at once. Infinite potentials, infinite outcomes. But only through observation. Through being seen, touched, and mirrored by others, does one version collapse into reality. So today, let yourself be seen. Let the world reflect your new frequency back to you. Because that reflection is the bridge between energy and matter, between who you were and who you're becoming. If you stay home alone, there is no observation, no witness, no reflection. And without that, the wave function doesn't collapse properly. You remain in a state of unstable potential. And over the following days and weeks, instead of collapsing into your highest timeline, you gradually collapse back into your old timeline. Because that's the pattern most familiar, most established, most deeply grooved into your neurology and your energy field. But if you are around other people, if you are seen, if you are witnessed, if you interact with the physical world as your new self, the collapse happens correctly. The people you encounter reflect back to you the energy you're now carrying. They respond to you differently because you are different. They treat you as your new self because that's who they're perceiving. And that external reflection solidifies the internal shift. It makes it real. It makes it permanent. It anchors the activation into physical reality. This is why every spiritual tradition has always emphasized community, gathering, and coming together, especially after initiations, activations, or transformative experiences. Because the elders understood what modern, isolated spirituality has forgotten. Transformation that happens only in isolation remains unstable. It needs to be witnessed by the tribe to become permanent. It needs to be recognized by others to fully integrate. You need people to see you as your new self, for your new self to become your actual self. Now let me tell you specifically what will happen if you ignore this message and stay home alone. You'll wake up feeling the residual energy from your activation. You'll feel different. You'll feel activated. You'll feel like something shifted. And you'll think to yourself, I should go out. I should be around people. But I'm tired. I need to integrate. I need to rest. I'll just stay home today and let the energy settle. And that decision, that seemingly innocent decision to rest, to stay in, to be alone, will be the decision that costs you everything. Because what you think is integration is actually isolation. What you think is rest is actually avoidance. What you think is letting the energy settle is actually letting the energy dissipate. By the end of November 2nd, if you've been alone all day, you'll notice the feelings starting to fade. The clarity you had will become slightly fuzzy. The certainty you felt will have an edge of doubt creeping in. The power you embodied will feel a little less solid, and you'll tell yourself, it's fine, it's normal. These things take time to integrate, but it's not fine. What's happening is that without external reinforcement, without witnesses, without the physical world reflecting your new frequency back to you, your nervous system is beginning to question whether the shift was real. Your subconscious is starting to pull you back toward the familiar. Your energy field is beginning to collapse back into the old pattern, because that's the path of least resistance when there's no external structure holding the new pattern in place. By November 3rd, you'll wake up and the feeling will be almost completely gone. You'll remember November 1st like a beautiful experience, like a powerful meditation, like a meaningful moment. But it will feel like a memory rather than a present reality. You'll think, I guess I need to do the work to maintain it. But the truth is, you lost it. Not because the activation wasn't real, but because you didn't anchor it. You didn't ground it. You didn't give it witnesses. You stayed home alone on the one day when being alone was the worst possible choice. And by the end of November, you'll be back to your old patterns, wondering what happened, wondering why the shift didn't stick, wondering why you're still struggling with the same issues you thought you'd transcended. And you'll blame yourself. You'll think you did something wrong, that you weren't spiritual enough, that you didn't hold the frequency properly. But the real reason will be simple. You were home alone on November 2nd. You didn't understand that spiritual activation requires physical anchoring. You thought transformation was a solo journey, when the final crucial step requires community, requires witnesses, requires being seen. Now let me tell you what will happen if you do the right thing. If you make sure you are not home alone on November 2nd, you'll wake up feeling the activation energy from November 1st. And instead of staying in, instead of isolating, you'll get yourself out into the world. Maybe you'll meet a friend for coffee. Maybe you'll go to a gathering. Maybe you'll attend a class or workshop. Maybe you'll just go to a busy place where you're around people, even if you're not directly interacting with them. The specific activity matters less than the fact that you are witnessed, that you are seen, that you are in the physical presence of other humans while carrying your new frequency. And here's what happens. People respond to you differently. Not dramatically different necessarily, but subtly different. They hold eye contact a little longer. They smile more readily. They're more interested in what you have to say. They treat you with slightly more respect, more attention, more recognition. And each of these micro-interactions is a data point telling your nervous system, this shift is real. This new version of you is being recognized by external reality. This is not just internal, this is actual. Those micro-confirmations from the external world are what collapse the quantum wave function into your highest timeline. Each person who sees you as your new self reinforces that version of you. Each interaction where you show up differently and get a different response anchors the new pattern deeper. By the end of November 2nd, after a full day of being witnessed as your new self, the shift is locked in. It's solid. It's permanent. Your nervous system knows it's real because reality reflected it back to you dozens of times throughout the day. You go to sleep on November 2nd with absolute certainty that you are different, that something fundamental has shifted, that you are no longer who you were, and that certainty, that knowing, is what carries forward. November 3rd, you wake up and the feeling is still there, still strong, still solid, because it was anchored, it was grounded, it was witnessed, and therefore made real. And over the following weeks and months, instead of gradually slipping back into old patterns, you notice yourself naturally operating from the new pattern, making different choices without having to think about it, attracting different opportunities without having to force it, being treated differently by people without having to demand it, because you locked in the shift on November 2nd by doing the one thing that most people won't do. You made sure you were not home alone. Now let me tell you exactly what you need to do on November 2nd to ensure the anchoring happens properly. This isn't complicated, but it is specific. And the specificity matters because we're working with precise energetic mechanics here. This is science as much as it is spirituality. First, you need to be around other people for a minimum of 4 hours during November 2nd. Not 4 hours total throughout the day, with breaks in between. 4 consecutive hours where you are in the presence of other humans. This duration is necessary because the anchoring process happens in layers. The first hour begins the process. The second hour deepens it. The third hour starts to solidify it. The fourth hour locks it in. If you only manage 1 or 2 hours and then go home, the anchoring is incomplete. It's like baking a cake, but taking it out of the oven halfway through. It won't set properly. Second, these 4 hours need to involve some level of interaction, not just passive presence. You can't just sit quietly in the corner of a cafe for 4 hours and expect the energy to anchor itself. The witnessing must be active, not passive. You need to be seen, acknowledged, interacted with. This doesn't mean deep, life-changing conversations with strangers. It means engagement, eye contact with the barista, a few words exchanged, a moment of participation rather than invisibility. Third, you need to show up as your new self during these interactions. This is where most people fail. Even when they go out, they leave the house but carry their old energy. They're physically present but energetically small, hidden, uncertain. That doesn't anchor the new timeline. It reinforces the old one. You must embody your future self in every moment on November 2nd. Stand as they stand, speak as they speak, breathe how they breathe. Carry the quiet confidence, peace, and clarity you accessed on November 1st. Fourth, avoid people who knew you deeply in your old pattern if possible. It sounds counterintuitive. You might think, perfect, I'll spend the day with my family or old friends. But here's the issue. People who've known you for a long time hold a strong, energetic imprint of your past self. Without realizing it, they'll mirror the old version of you back. They'll treat you as the person you used to be, not the one you've become. Their expectations, their stories, their habits of interaction, all of it can subtly pull you backward. That creates dissonance between your new frequency and their old perception. So if you can, spend the day around people who don't have that history with you. Acquaintances, new connections, or even strangers. Fresh mirrors, clean reflections, no distortion. Fifth, if it's absolutely unavoidable to be around people who knew your old self, family, colleagues, anyone close, you must be intentional about holding the new energy. Don't fall back into familiar roles. Don't take the bait of old jokes or triggers. You don't have to announce your transformation, you simply embody it. When they try to engage your old patterns, you respond differently. Calm, steady, unreactive. When they invite you into your old energy, you quietly decline. Through your presence alone, you show them something has changed. Sixth, follow synchronicities and intuitive nudges. On November 2nd, the universe will guide you. You might get an unexpected call, an invitation, or a sudden feeling to go somewhere new. Don't ignore it. These aren't coincidences. They're instructions. They're the universe orchestrating the exact encounters and environments you need to anchor the shift. Follow the pull. Say yes to the unexpected. Go where you feel guided, even if it makes no logical sense. Seventh, document the day. Take photos. Record short reflections. Write in your journal. Capture the moments that mark this shift. Because later, when your logical mind starts to question, these will be proof, physical evidence of what happened. This documentation becomes an anchor of memory that prevents the transformation from fading into something that maybe happened. And one more thing, this part is critical. Do not consume alcohol or substances of any kind. Your frequency needs to be crystal clear. These energies are extremely refined, and substances distort them. They blur your energetic field, weaken your grounding, and open you up to influence from other frequencies. Even if you're at a social event, stay clear and present. This is not the time to escape. It's the time to embody. Finally, when the day comes to a close, seal the shift. Before you sleep, sit quietly, reflect on the day. Remember the moments you were seen, the ways people responded differently, the signs that affirmed your transformation. Then speak these words aloud or in your mind. Today, I anchored my transformation into physical reality. Today, the shift became permanent. Today, I was witnessed as my new self, and that witnessing locked in the change. I am no longer who I was. I am who I have become. And tomorrow, I continue from this new foundation. The anchoring is complete. Now, some of you might say, but I'm an introvert. Being around people drains me, I understand. But this isn't about socializing. This is about anchoring. It's not about noise, it's about frequency. You can have all the solitude you want afterward, but November 2nd is the one day where being seen is essential. Think of it this way. If someone told you that spending just a few hours around others would lock in the highest version of your destiny, would you do it? Of course you would. That's what this is. Don't choose temporary comfort over permanent transformation. Don't stay home when the universe is calling you into your new life. And if you truly can't avoid responsibilities, if you work from home, have family, or limited options, then adapt. Go to a co-working space or cafe. Take your children to a park. Schedule a video call if in-person is impossible, though physical presence is stronger. Just make sure you are witnessed. Let the world see you. Because November 2nd isn't just another date. It's the bridge between the energetic and the physical. It's the day your new self steps into the world, and the world steps forward to meet you. You find a way, because this matters more than almost anything else you could be doing. And some of you are thinking, I don't have anyone to spend time with. I don't have friends available. I can't just show up randomly at social events. Yes, you can. This is exactly the time to do things you wouldn't normally do. Go to that meetup you've been curious about. Attend that class you've been considering. Go to a busy place and strike up conversations with strangers. Volunteer somewhere for a few hours. The universe will support you in finding the right connections if you're willing to step outside your comfort zone. But you have to take the action. You have to make the effort. The anchoring won't happen passively. Let me also tell you what will confirm that you're doing this correctly. As you move through the process, interacting with people from your new frequency, you'll notice a feeling of resonance. Things will flow. Conversations will happen easily. People will be receptive to you. Opportunities will present themselves. You'll feel like you're in the right place at the right time. That feeling of flow, of ease, of rightness. That's confirmation that the anchoring is happening. You're collapsing into your highest timeline in real time, and reality is confirming it through how smoothly things unfold. Conversely, if you're trying to force interactions that feel awkward or draining, if you're pushing to be social but it feels completely wrong, that might be a sign that you're trying to anchor with the wrong people or in the wrong environment. Don't force it. Adjust, go somewhere else. Try a different approach. Follow the feeling of resonance. It will guide you to exactly where you need to be and who you need to encounter. And finally, understand that this is not just about you. Yes, you're anchoring your personal transformation, but you're also contributing to a collective shift. Every person who successfully anchors their highest timeline makes it easier for others to do the same. You're not just changing your individual reality, you're shifting the collective frequency. You're proving that rapid transformation is possible. You're demonstrating that quantum leaps are real, and others who witness you, even if they don't consciously understand what they're seeing, will be inspired and activated by your frequency. This is why the message, "Do not be home alone," is so important. It's not just spiritual advice. It's not just a suggestion for your personal growth. It's a directive that affects the collective awakening. The more chosen ones who successfully anchor their transformation, the more the collective timeline shifts toward awakening rather than staying stuck in old patterns. Your individual anchoring contributes to humanity's collective evolution. So when you choose to not be home alone, you're not just serving yourself, you're serving all of us. This is the anchoring day, the day when everything you activated either becomes permanent reality or fades back into potential. The day when your highest timeline either locks in or slips away. The day when transformation becomes tangible or remains merely energetic. And the single most important thing you can do to ensure the anchoring happens: do not be home alone. Be witnessed, be seen, be reflected. Let the world respond to your new frequency. Let people treat you as your new self. Let reality confirm that the shift is real. Hours of active interaction, showing up as your future self, avoiding those who knew your old self if possible, following synchronicities, staying clear and sober, documenting the experience, sealing it with intention before sleep. This is your instruction. This is your mission. This is what separates those who successfully navigate the portal from those who miss the opportunity entirely. Not home alone. Your transformation depends on it. Don't ignore this message. Don't convince yourself it doesn't apply to you. Don't prioritize comfort over anchoring. Be not home alone. Your highest timeline is waiting on the other side of that choice. Now let me give you one final piece of truth that will make everything crystal clear. The reason most spiritual transformations fail, the reason most people who have profound activations and awakenings end up back where they started within weeks or months, it's not because the transformation wasn't real. It's not because they didn't do the inner work. It's not because they weren't spiritual enough, conscious enough, or dedicated enough. It's because they didn't understand the anchoring principle. They thought transformation was purely internal. They thought if they meditated enough, visualized enough, affirmed enough, the shift would just stick. But that's not how it works. Consciousness exists in relationship. Identity is formed through reflection. Your sense of self is constructed through how others see you and respond to you. This isn't a flaw in the system. It's a feature. It's how human consciousness is designed to operate. You cannot hold a new identity alone in your room with no witnesses. Your nervous system needs feedback from reality to confirm that the shift is real. Without that feedback, without external validation that you are indeed different, your brain defaults back to the old pattern because that's what has years of reinforcement behind it. This is the universe handing you the perfect conditions to get that external validation, that reality feedback, that anchoring that makes transformation permanent. The cosmic energies are aligned. The portal is open. The timeline is ready to receive you. All you have to do is show up in the physical world and let yourself be seen. This is why monasteries, ashrams, and spiritual communities have always existed. Not because spirituality requires institutions, but because transformation requires witnesses. The elders knew this. The mystics understood this. And now you understand it too. So remember, this is not a day for solitude. This is not a day for isolation. This is not a day to hide in your comfort zone. This is the day you step fully into the world as your new self and let reality confirm what you've become. Be not home alone. Your entire future timeline depends on this choice. Make it wisely. Make it consciously. Make it with absolute commitment to anchoring the transformation you activated. The universe has done its part. You have been given the activation. You are being given the opportunity to anchor it. Now you must do your part. Get out into the world. Be witnessed. Be seen. Be reflected. And watch as your highest timeline locks into place permanently. Not home alone. This is not a suggestion. It's a spiritual law. Follow it, and everything changes. Ignore it, and nothing sticks. The choice, as always, is yours. Each hour of this anchoring day is sacred. Each moment holds a specific vibration that locks a part of your new self into the grid of reality. That's why passivity is not an option. Every time you move, speak, or connect, you're transmitting your upgraded energy into the collective field. It ripples outward, touching people you've never met, awakening memories in souls you'll never know by name. This is the quiet magic of the chosen ones, the ability to alter timelines simply by existing in truth. Later, when the day begins to slow and the light shifts toward evening, you might notice a deep calm setting in. It's not exhaustion, it's completion. It's the moment when the energetic scaffolding finishes, adjusting around your new identity. You might feel as if the air itself is holding you, as though invisible hands are sealing everything in place. That's the confirmation. You've done it. You've anchored. You've made the unseen real. But even after this day ends, remember, anchoring is not a single event. It's an ongoing state of awareness. The transformation doesn't vanish once the energy peaks. It stabilizes through repetition. The more you live from your new identity, the more unshakable it becomes. Speak differently. Choose differently. Walk differently. Continue to surround yourself with those who see your light clearly, because their reflection will keep it burning. In the days ahead, reality may test you. Old timelines may try to reattach. Old people may reappear. Old habits may whisper for attention. Don't panic. This isn't regression. It's verification. The universe is asking you, are you truly anchored, or are you still tempted by the familiar? Your response determines how strong the new timeline becomes. Every time you choose alignment over comfort, you reinforce the bridge you built today. You are not the same person you were yesterday. You are a new frequency wearing the memory of an old body. Everything around you will begin to rearrange itself to match who you've become. That's why patience is crucial now. The physical world takes a little time to catch up to energetic truth. Don't rush it. Trust it. Your manifestations are already forming behind the scenes, magnetized by the certainty you've cultivated. So once more, I say it clearly. Be not home alone. Don't retreat now. Don't isolate when the light is finally finding you. Step outside, speak, laugh, share, anchor the light through living. The universe doesn't need your perfection. It needs your participation. Reality shifts when you show up. Energy stabilizes when you are seen. And destiny locks in when you say yes. Because ultimately, this isn't just about one day. It's about the kind of life you're choosing to live from now on. A life of alignment. A life where spiritual truth and human experience finally merge. A life where you don't just talk about transformation, you become its living proof. That's the true anchoring. That's the purpose behind all of this. You are not here to wait for miracles. You are here to be one.